This day's events commenced with Hadis' liberation from confinement. He reproached those around him for their conduct, having anticipated lives of integrity from them. Instead, he found them to be disloyal deceivers, unworthy of life itself. Mirroring his uncle's prior fury, Hadis resolved to eliminate him, but his attack was countered without effort. Astonished by Hadis' power, his uncle cried out, "Unbelievable! Your magic was bound. How did you repel my assault? You are a true monstrosity." Hadis retorted, "If I am a monstrous being, what does that label you? You are the ones pillaging our kingdom and its citizens, using it as justification for my demise. You are the true abominations. Execution is your due, not mine." A potent energy then emanated from Hadis, bathing the area in light before he struck his uncle a crushing blow. He then moved to eliminate his sister, but Jill intervened. Overcome with wrath, Hadis proclaimed, "Their betrayal warrants their non-existence. I shall obliterate them." His anger escalated, and he threatened, "You will rue the day you were brought into this world." Panic seized Jill. What can I do? Time is slipping away, and His Majesty's rage could annihilate the world. Suddenly, she resolved on a course of action and declared, "Please, compose yourself. I will bear you 10 heirs." Hadis, momentarily speechless, questioned, "Could you repeat that?" Jill reiterated her offer, explaining her willingness to be his consort and bear him 10 children, citing her own large family of 7 siblings. She suggested a peaceful resolution through marriage, proposing Prince Restyard as a husband for one of their daughters and Alincia as a wife for one of their sons, thereby integrating them into the family. She reassured Hadis, "Prince Restyard and Princess Alincia may lack blood ties, but they held deep affection for you. I will ensure your utmost happiness, my beloved." Overwhelmed with joy, Hadis could scarcely process her words. Just then, Rafi interjected, and Hadis' uncle, still intent on his nephew's destruction, flew into a rage. Hadis urged him to yield, revealing his sword to be a forgery. The uncle attacked again, but Hadis effortlessly parried the blow. Despite attempts at persuasion, the uncle demanded they not interfere. Alinzi also implored Hadis to pardon their transgressions, but their uncle commanded their silence, denouncing their reasoning as absurd. At that juncture, the Black Dragon, Lawrence, and their companions arrived, uniting with Jill and Hadis against their uncle. Consumed by fury, he transformed into a colossal beast, wielding the counterfeit celestial sword, which he then absorbed to become an even more formidable creature. He vowed to protect his sister and nephews before assaulting the Black Dragon. A brutal clash followed, from which he ultimately disengaged to target the city. Jill directed Zeke, Camilla, and Lawrence to safeguard the others while she pursued him. Hadis, however, insisted on confronting his uncle alone. He summoned the Black Dragon and requested her aid in protecting their people alongside Jill, who protested, wanting to fight by his side. But Hadis countered that her magic was not fully restored, making such a confrontation perilous. Moreover, he declared it his duty as the Dragon Emperor to resolve the situation. Hadis then faced his uncle, who ordered him to yield. Hadis disregarded the command and engaged him in combat. While acknowledging his uncle's misguided approach, he recognized his intent to protect their people, nation, and kin. As a final act of respect, Hadis granted him a swift demise, slaying him with his powerful blade. A fortnight later, Jill conversed with Zeke and Camilla, noting the absence of her magic. She speculated that Hadis' magic must also be depleted. Zeke advised patience, estimating a year for full magical restoration, as the celestial sword, which had sealed their powers, was likely obliterated along with Jorg. At that moment, Hadis and Restyard arrived, engaged in a dispute. Hadis accused Restyard of treating him unkindly. Alincia attempted to mediate, but the quarrel persisted. Restyard argued, "He is our younger brother. Should we not treat him accordingly?" He then addressed Alincia, "Why this fear? If others are afraid, we need not be." Rafi observed to Hadis, "It appears you are losing this exchange, but his conduct is tiresome and obstinate." Hadis retorted to Restyard, "You are a mere 2 months my senior. Cease this condescending attitude." Restyard chuckled, stating, "You have acknowledged me as your elder. Therefore, I hold a higher position." Exasperated, Restyard eventually relented. Jill then instructed Alincia to attend to His Majesty during the victory procession, explaining her own height prevented her from full participation, adding, "However, I am now 11, so I anticipate further growth." Upon learning of Jill's birthday, Hadis expressed deep regret for not commemorating it. He promptly declared, "The parade is cancelled. We will hold a birthday celebration for Jill. I will relinquish my emperorship, For an emperor who neglects his bride's birthday is unfit to rule. Jill suggested, let us celebrate together after the procession. That would bring me true joy. Hades responded, I will orchestrate the grandest festival our empire has ever witnessed. He then addressed Rafi, stating, I will demonstrate the true wielding of imperial authority. Restyard interjected, that resembles tyranny. Adopt a more relaxed approach. Enjoyment is preferable. Zeke commented, that individual has been absent for some time. Anisha clarified, you refer to Lawrence? He is among the guards assigned to Princess Ferris's escort back to Kredos. Their departure from Belberg is imminent. Later, Jill visited a particular site, expressing gratitude to Rafi for guiding her. Rafi dismissed the thanks, adding, after all, your magic remains absent. Let us visit Lady Sophia. Jill responded, that is untrue. There is a matter I must investigate. Jill then encountered Princess Ferris, stating, should you seek Lawrence, he is conversing with my brother. Ferris replied, I came to see you. Jill explained, firstly, allow me to express my condolences regarding Prince George. Upon discovering Emperor Hades' location, he confronted the creature that assaulted the capital, perishing in combat before fulfilling his objective. Jill mused, so that is the narrative circulating in Kredos. A typical Lawrence fabrication. And Chiads, the individual who supplied Prince George with the counterfeit celestial sword, was Prince Gerald. The one responsible for transforming Prince George into a monster was you. The seal upon our magic persists. Jill deduced the seal's medium, the counterfeit celestial sword, continued to exist, obscuring the truth. Princess Ferris presented a scenario where Prince George fused with the sword, transforming into a monstrous being. Jill challenged her. Is my presumption inaccurate, Princess? Ferris, with evident satisfaction, replied, splendid. Your deduction is flawless. Jill's anger flared at Ferris's confession and her orchestrated scheme. Clearly, your intention was not to marry His Majesty, Jill accused. Ferris, unfazed, responded, you have already arrived at the correct conclusion. Suddenly, Princess Ferris rose from her wheelchair, the spear of the gods soaring into her grasp. Jill, stunned, watched as Ferris explained, I sought this spear after you shattered it and cast it into the ocean. I required the celestial sword, forged from the same substance, but my brother had already transported and delivered it to Prince George. I have come to retrieve it, as George would never have willingly relinquished it. Even as a monstrosity, his aim was my demise within the capital. Direct retrieval seemed the most expedient method. Do these explanations suffice, Jill? Enraged, Jill drew her sword, aiming it at Ferris. You are our adversary, Princess, she proclaimed. Ferris smirked, replying, you are now the dragon's consort. Beware a second demise. Jill was astounded by Ferris's words and her knowledge of past occurrences. Ferris continued, I claimed the Dragon Emperor for my elder brother's benefit. Can you now safeguard him, having previously failed? Do you possess the necessary determination? You are merely a puppet in the Dragon Emperor's grasp. Angered, Jill retorted, I became the dragon's bride by choice. His Majesty requires me, and I will not disappoint him. Ferris calmly responded, although my brother needed and cherished you, I am certain you will forsake the Dragon Emperor as you abandoned my brother, by your own volition. Jill recalled an exchange with Gerald. Your abandonment was not the cause. I was the one who relinquished you. Snapping back to the present, she declared, I pledge to Emperor Hades my dedication to his happiness. Cease this absurdity, Princess. I harbor no affection for a man I once left. I will confront you directly and prevent you from claiming His Majesty. I will shatter this spear again, and your haughty demeanor, along with your troublesome aspirations, will conclude here. Ada's spear asserted control over Ferris, who attacked Jill with overwhelming magical force. Jill struggled to defend herself, barely maintaining her ground. Her sword urged, we must withdraw, my lady. I cannot withstand this immense power. Jill responded, just a brief respite. Amidst the fierce struggle, the sword teleported her atop a small tower at the last instant, sparing her from a fatal strike. However, Jill lost her footing and nearly plummeted. Rafi then reprimanded Jill for her recklessness. What possessed you to attempt such foolishness? Jill apologized, but retorted, being transported to such a precarious location, a fall could have been lethal. The scene transitioned to Emperor Hades addressing the assembled populace. He declared, in light of the long-standing marital alliances between the imperial lineage and the three dukes, the Ravi imperial family will retain its current position. Dissent is likely, and some may even proclaim themselves the rightful rulers of Ravi. However, this is the dragon god Ravi's decree, in my decision as the Dragon Emperor. Returning to Jill, Rafi, still seething, admonished her. Reflect upon your recent actions. My intervention alone ensured your survival. Never again repeat such recklessness. Jill, equally incensed, replied, I possess knowledge of the future. Rafi sighed, conceding, that became evident from your consistent anticipation of events. Rest assured, I will not disclose this to Hades. Suddenly, they heard the crowd's acclamations. Glory to Emperor Hades! Glory to the Ravi Empire! Rafi remarked, none of this would have materialized without your contribution, my lady. Thank you for your unwavering support. With you by his side, he will achieve greatness as emperor. To the crowd's astonishment, Emperor Hades made an unanticipated proclamation. I have a final announcement. I recently wed an 11-year-old girl. My bride is both captivating and graceful, and we intend to have 10 children. The Imperial family will flourish, so fear not. We will experience enduring happiness, and I anticipate your continued allegiance. Jill descended from above, calling out to His Majesty, thinking to herself, he brings me unparalleled joy. Hades caught her before the audience, and Jill silently vowed, such a future may never again grace my existence, and I will not relinquish it. Addressing the audience, she declared, to this magnificent assembly and its extraordinary people, I pledge my life to this man's happiness.